under an hour.
Cool. Let's
Is
do
that
it.
right?
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
do
we're
it.
live. We are live, people, and I've got this rising superstar and a threat to all men out there because apparently he's very handsome. This is Younes Sadaghiani, or Younes Rocks. I've been following him on Instagram for quite some time, but lately he's been appearing on TV, GB News. He's been delivering some speeches. I think I've seen him. So, Younes, what happened? Where did you come? Where did you come from? Was this everything happened all of a sudden?
Yeah, so basically, I was actually working in a school last year and I was teaching politics and economics to A-level students. And I had these political ideas for a long time, and I felt like the political discourse is going in the wrong direction. So around September last year, I was like, why don't I start like voicing my opinion? Because I'm educated in that field and I've been following politics for a long time. And I feel like so many of the people on the news and so many people on YouTube, they get millions of views, but they talk nonsense and they come from a place of uneducation, And I was like, I feel like my voice is really needed. So I decided I'm going to start doing like videos. So I started doing these long format videos, about an hour long, where I just explain a subject as if I'm teaching something to someone. And then I realized that these long format videos, they're not really going viral. Yeah, I would get like 100, 200 views. And at the time, actually, some of my videos became very popular in school. So like a lot of the students were watching my videos. And the school basically called me in and said, Younes, you can't be making political videos because as a school, we decide to be impartial and it's in our, requirements that all the teachers have a private profile. And I was like, look, this is my passion. I'm not going to go private. I'm just starting to grow. So they were like, look, there's a conflict of interest here. You have to either choose to stay with us and teach or pursue your social media stuff.
How's a conflict of interest? How's a conflict of
Yeah, I
interest?
don't know. It's not absolute nonsense. And I told him that. I was like, there's Harvard professors that
Yeah,
literally make videos, such as Jordan
and the right
Peterson. So
books.
and you're telling me you're more special than Harvard. And to be completely fair with them, like when they gave us training, they did say that all the teachers are supposed to have their social media on private. So they did tell me that way before. And I don't know why the policy is that like that, but that was their policy. So
I
anyway,
think
I
it could be
decided.
because or maybe if you say something controversial, then it attracts negative publicity towards the school or something. Because that's exactly what happened to your friend, Muhammed Hijab. So we'll actually get into why you're so passionate about it. This is your Instagram account. You've got 50,000 followers and a lot of videos. And look, I must say that your Instagram profile looks more like a profile of a model rather than an educator.
You have to go to my reels.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna play one video and I'm gonna get your opinion on that. But what's happening here? How did you meet him? How did the conversation go? What
So
happened there?
basically, I live in London, and basically, I was walking in the street and I saw him. I recognized him. I went up to
Right.
him. I was like, Mohammed Hijab, I'm an ex-Muslim. I don't agree with you. Do you want to have a debate? And he was surrounded by another 3, 4 guys, like all of them, like you can tell they were extremists. And he was like, "Hi, brother. I'm really tired at the moment, but yeah, next time." So I take out my Instagram. I show him my page. Okay, I was
Right.
like, "This is my page. I'm gonna start following you. Let's take a
Right.
picture. I'm gonna tag you and let's debate." And then he was
Right.
like, "Oh, not at the moment, bro. I'm so tired." So it was basically dodging it because I wanted to like record a video there and then, like a 5, 10 minute video, like a selfie
Mm.
mode, just like ask him a few questions. And then he kept ducking it. So I realized I'm just gonna take a picture with him, post that on Instagram, tag him to get him to come to the debate table. So far, no response from him, unfortunately. So he's been
How
dodging.
long ago was this? This was
Like
18th
two
of
weeks
May.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, about 2 weeks ago. Okay, so that's not that
Yes.
long, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I think yeah, look, I'm not gonna say anything about him because yeah, there could be a whole heap of reasons for him not willing to debate with you. Not necessarily that he's scared.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of us, we actually. I'm not saying that you're saying that, but I've seen a lot of people who actually say that. Oh, he's scared of me. I'm like,
No, it's not
like,
even scared. I feel like what it
yeah,
is that There could be two different reasons. First reason is that he thinks he's too big for me, which is not,
Yeah.
because he's been on Piers Morgan show and he doesn't want to give me that publicity. That could be one reason.
That's
But another reason, because I have seen him watch my stories, so he has checked out my profile, and I feel like he's gone through my profile and he knows what I'm talking about. He knows I'm an ex-Muslim. He knows that I was born in an Islamic country. He knows that I speak Arabic a little bit. So I feel like he can only push his agenda to people like Piers Morgan and white people that don't know anything about Islam. And yeah, this guy, I don't even know why the channels give him time of day. When you go on his profile, he's literally blatantly saying it. He's like, oh, the Islamists are going to take over Europe. We will take over. We will do this, you know? And I just feel like that's such dangerous rhetoric. And the fact that no one is really challenging him and is kind of getting away with it. And that's why I wanted to debate him. That's the main reason I want to debate him, because he's so blatant about it. He doesn't even try to hide
Well,
it.
all of them are.
You know?
All of these Islamists are. They just openly,
Yeah.
Daniel, like Pikachu in America. Like there's literally tens of them now who actually
Yeah.
they don't mince their words. They just say it as it is. I mean, a few years ago, maybe a decade ago, they used to hide Prophet Muhammad's child bride issue or sex slavery, etc. They used to hide the jihadi verses. They used to hide those things, but now they just openly say it. And because you know why that is because they've actually found out that hang on, I got away with it. I can say all of these things, and the authorities don't take any action against me, and the society lets me say it. What these authorities don't realize that Muhammad Hijab is not going to go and stab people. The kind of rhetoric that these people propagate. There are thousands of young Muslims in these, whether that's in Germany or
he's an influencer. He influences
he's an
people
influencer. Exactly, he's influencing people. I just saw a video today. Not a video. I saw a video today where someone ripped up a copy of the Bible at the speaker's corner, and you can see the guy. He's like a 19, 20-year-old young Muslim boy / man, and he's so smug about it because. You know, imagine if someone had done that with the Quran without security, just out in the open.
They would get killed.
Would have been stabbed by now. Would have been killed. Just happened in Germany, and we have people. We have these influencers saying that. Yeah, that's. I've seen 2 videos since that attack in Germany. The German Muslims are saying, "Yeah, that's good. We're celebrating. We're happy about it. More of that is going to come."
Every single person that says that should be thrown in jail. Anyone that encourages that should be thrown in jail. Anyone that says, "Yeah, I'm happy the guy was stabbed for his opinion," should be jailed. And I was in a different podcast the other day. Can you imagine people like neo-Nazis coming into the streets and waving their flags and saying, yeah, death to the Jews, this and that? All of them would get arrested within a few days, but the Islamists get away with it. So I don't really understand. So back to my point. So I decided I'm going to leave the school in December because I had the choice between following my passion or teaching at the school. And luckily I'd done a few businesses last year, so I had a bit of money saved. So I was like, you know what? It's now or never. And at that time, I didn't have a lot of followers. Like it was basically a bullet in the dark, you know. And in December, I decided I'm going to leave the school and I'm going to focus everything on my social media. And in January, luckily, I went viral. Where the video was for Sharia for UK. There was people shouting Sharia for UK, and then after that, I just started releasing video after video after video. But also, what I want your audience to know is that I don't even speak just about Islam. It's one of the things I speak about, but it's just because that went viral, and I'm kind of known for that now because that video went viral. But I speak about a host of other issues, everything to do with politics and social issues. So I don't really want to be known for that guy that only disses Islam, because I feel like that's a very narrow thing. I feel like one of the dangers that society faces is Islamism, one of the main dangers. But also another danger is political correctness, this left-wing ideology, LGBTQ, toxic feminism, so on and so forth, this woke ideology. And it's funny because the woke ideology is now collaborating with the Islamists. It's a marriage made in hell, but they're basically fueling each other and they're going against the system. And that's why I want to stop, because I feel like the silent majority actually agrees with us, but people are just not brave enough to speak up about these things because they don't want to get cancelled. They don't want to be sacked from their job. They don't want to come across racist. But at the same time, I feel like truth is the only way to freedom.
Yeah. So you've tried your Younes has got his YouTube channel as well. There's a lot of videos there, and I'm going to play one video from his Instagram channel. That's, as I said, where most of his following comes from. I was about to say that there's probably one more reason that why Muhammad Hijab is not going to talk to you, because you have definitely shown some talent when it comes to speaking in front of a camera.
Do you
I saw this clip. I want to play this clip.
Sure.
sort of despair at the protests on the streets and the, dare I say, naivety of them?
Yes, and the most ridiculous thing I ever heard is queers for Palestine.
Yeah,
because
chickens for KFC.
Yeah, exactly. Because they kill gay people in Gaza, they throw them off the buildings, and it's this whole oppressor versus oppressed narrative, because they think that the Palestinians are oppressed, which they are, but they're oppressed by their own leaders, which is Hamas. Because Hamas and the Palestinians were offered 4 different occasions, and they said no every single time.
Yeah.
And that's why they shout river to the sea, because they're the ones that are actually genocidal against Israel. They believe that Israel shouldn't exist. Okay. And fundamentally, I feel like a lot of Iranians are actually pro-Israel. And the reason, and you would find that surprising, because the Islamic Republic of Iran funds Hamas. However, because over
I want to expand on these 2 points that you made. So first of all, obviously we've seen a lot of Iranians supporting Israel. First of all, why is that? Is it just because enemy of my enemy is my friend, or there is a deeper philosophy behind that?
Well, there is a deeper philosophy behind that, because the second country that recognized Israel was Iran. Did you know that? During the Shah. During the Shah, and there was actually a lot of Iranian Jews living in Iran. And Iran was very multicultural. We had Jews, we had Baha'is, we had Christians, we had all kinds of different people. And when the revolution happened in 1979, the Islamic Republic basically massacred the Jews, killed all the Jews, killed all the Christians, or they either had to flee or they either were, hanged. So I think there is part of that as well. However, the thing is, in 1979, people didn't really know what Islam could do to a society, because Shah was very liberal. And after 45 years of oppression under the Islamic Republic, and how the Islamic Republic basically funds Hamas, whilst Iranians are starving. Iran is one of the richest countries in the world. It's the second highest oil producer in the world and the second highest gas producer in the world. We also have a lot of natural resources. And when you see people are starving, the economy is doing terrible. Like literally people have to eat 1 meal a day to survive, because people just can't pay rent and live. And like 90% of the people are living in poverty now, and that's whilst we have so much money, and the Islamic Republic, instead of spending that money on its own people, they're sending it to Hamas, they're sending it to Hezbollah, they're sending it to the Houthis, and they're just doing terrorist activities. So that's why Iranians are looking at that, and they're like, fuck Palestine and fuck Hamas, because you're funding terrorists whilst we're starving. So, and at the same time, Israel and Netanyahu are the ones that really stand up to Islamic Republic, more than the Americans. And that's why they admire Israel, because Israel is standing up to them. They're killing the Islamic Republic's generals left, right, and center. And that's why Iranians admire Israel. It's not so much the enemy of my enemy is my friend, is that the Iranian people want the Islamic Republic of Iran gone. And the only state supporting them is Israel, and to some extent, maybe America.
Yeah. So not only the fact that the Islamic regime is actually supporting these terrorist organizations, but also it is in this perpetual state of Cold War with the West. And as a result, despite having the second largest reserve or being oil producer or gas producer, it's a shame that it's still so poor. I mean, Iran should have been as rich, or the quality of life in Iran should have been as high as in the UAE or in Saudi Arabia.
Even more.
Yeah. So but you also talk about, I know, as you said, you that's not what you want to be known for, but I've also noticed that a lot of, actually, before I ask you this, just answer this: how popular this anti-Islamic regime sentiment is in Iran?
Very powerful. I feel like almost 80% of the people want the Islamic Republic of Iran gone. And you can see the evidence of that in the protests that happened 2 years ago for Mahsa Amini, and 2 years before that. And then we've had like 10 protests ever since more than 10, ever since the Islamic Republic of Iran took over. But then the problem is the Islamic Republic of Iran kills its own people. It's not a democracy. If you go out in the street and you protest, they literally shoot you. They literally shoot you. They just start blowing with the machine gun brrr, and pistols, like they massacre people. And the people that get arrested, they will get hanged. So you realize that how much the people in Iran, they have such big balls to even come out and protest, because imagine in that environment, you get shot, you get killed, and if you get caught by the police, you get hanged, and they still do it. That's how much they hate the Islamic Republic. They still do it. And the problem was 2 years ago that the Iranian people were out in their millions, up and down the country, literally millions of people in Tehran, in Tabriz, in Shiraz, in Isfahan, in Kurdistan, everywhere, Mashhad. And the international community didn't really support us. I felt like that was the moment for the international support community. And I feel like to some extent, the international community wants the Islamic Republic of Iran to stay for multiple different reasons. One reason is that they don't want another unstable country in the region. However, what they don't realize is that the foundation of the instability in the region comes from Iran. So if the Islamic Republic of Iran goes, the region would be a lot more stable. And also the opposition to the Islamic Republic is very weak, because we don't actually have an opposition. We need a strong leader to come and say, if the Islamic Republic of Iran collapses, I'm going to be the one to come and take over. We don't have that. We have different sects, and they're all fighting each other. And
Pahlavi is not that strong either. Like, I mean,
no, not at all, not at all, not at all. And that's why I like him, but I don't like him at the same time, because I feel like, first of all, he lacks charisma. You need to be a leader, and you need to be strong, and you need to be firm. And if you want the job, come and say, I want the job. And he's been living in California, living a great life, easy life. He had 45 years now to build a cabinet. There's a lot of rich, powerful people living in America, Iranian Americans. Some of them are billionaires. You're telling me you've been there for 45 years, you couldn't make yourself a cabinet. Make someone for like the head of finance, make someone the head of military, and like get a group of like 100 rich, powerful people with a lot of influence and say, this is my cabinet, okay? If the Islamic Republic of Iran falls, we are going to be the ones to come and take over. But he hasn't done that. All he does is
and pay the lobbyists. So there's not even a lobby group for them.
Exactly.
There's a lobby group for the Islamic regime of Iran.
Yeah, he just talks. He's just all talk and no action. And even in his talking, he's just so trying to be so diplomatic, as if he's like,
as if he's
debating.
a president.
It's as if he's doing like a negotiation with Switzerland. You're not negotiating with Switzerland. You're negotiating with the Islamic Republic of Iran. These people are barbaric. There's no negotiation with terrorists, and you need to be strong and firm and be a great leader. So, and this is one of the reasons I actually started my channel. I want to be part of that opposition. I feel like we need some real true leaders that speak the truth, and they are brave and courageous, and they come and say, we want to be part of that cabinet to come and take over Iran when it collapses. And the problem is, as I said, there is so much infighting. You need to make the Islamic Republic of Iran your major enemy. And once that falls, then you can decide, do you want a republic, or do you want a monarchy, or do you want a parliamentary system, or those things are for later. We can't be arguing about these things now. We have a common enemy now, Islamic Republic of Iran. We have to defeat them, and then afterwards we can argue about the details.
Yeah, a friend of mine who's also an Iranian, Amin Navabi, he described it as that Islam is a death cult. All these people propagate or they glorify death, whereas people of Israel, they want to live, they celebrate life. And that's the main commonality between the people of Iran who want the Islamic regime gone. They celebrate life. And it's amazing that how all these Islamist propagandists, I mean, they all unite when it comes to war and jihad and death and destruction and takeover. It really is a death cult. With Pahlavi, though, I mean, I've seen some polls, and a lot of people say that it is about 80% of the Iranian population that wants they want the Islamic regime gone. Yeah, but not all of them 80% support Pahlavi. Yeah, because I've seen some Pahlavi supporters, some who are Iranian, and they speak in his favor. It kind of, I don't know, like it sounds very cultish to me the way some of those people talk. I mean, you're probably one person who's saying that, okay, I like him, but I don't like him that much, and you understand that he lacks the charisma that is needed to maybe overthrow the Islamic regime.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we cannot be stuck in the past. I admire his dad, and I admire even more his granddad. I feel like these two people built Iran, and they brought Iran to the 20th century. However, his granddad was a very strong character. His dad was a strong character, but not as strong as the granddad. And he is even a weaker character. And at the end of the day, I know there was a British and American conspiracy to overthrow the Shah, and it was all to do with the price of oil. However, the Shah was overthrown. And I don't think we can go to the past and have the son now coming and taking over, especially when the son is weak. You know, he's not strong. All right, he might understand things and he might be very educated and he's quite well spoken, but you don't need that kind of character right now. We need a strong character that can confront the Islamic Republic of Iran. He's not confrontational. You know, we need a character like Trump, for example.
Oh yeah.
To
Imagine
to
that.
come and, yeah, exactly. We need someone that doesn't surrender, doesn't give a fuck. He's very firm, and he goes after them. And one of the reasons I actually admire Trump is that because he killed Soleimani when he was in office, and I think that really, and he weakened the Islamic Republic. He put sanctions on them. They were completely broke. And then as soon as Biden comes, he gives them billions of dollars, and that's how they actually caused the attack in Palestine and Israel, funding Hamas. And I don't think any of these things would have happened if Trump was still in power. So I really hope that Trump is re-elected, because I think that really gives us hope. Because if Trump is elected, then the Islamic Republic of Iran is going to be in a weak position. And if we combine that and Israel and, continuity of the killing and assassinating of Iran's top generals, and we have another uprising at the same time within Iran, and the international community supports us, and we have a strong opposition, I feel like the Islamic Republic of Iran will collapse. I really do, but we need like 3 different conditions. I really do think they will collapse in the next 5 years, because they have also a lot of infighting. Khamenei is really old. They're trying to replace him. There's a lot of sects, even in the Islamic Republic, and now they're in a very weak position. They might pretend that they're strong, but they're not strong at all.
What about Raisi dying? Has that weakened the regime as well? Because some people are saying he might have been the next supreme leader. Is that true? Or
no, I'm glad that he's dead, the butcher of Tehran, but he's not the main guy. Khamenei is the main guy, and he's the one that pulls all the strings. There's 100 Raisis in the Islamic Republic of Iran, so if he dies, someone else will replace him. I just feel like now, because he's dead, and I actually think Khamenei killed him because Khamenei wants his son to replace him. Yeah.
I spread it as a conspiracy theory the day he died, because everyone was like, "Oh, Israel killed him, so the CIA killed him." So I was like, "Oh, you know what? Actually, Khamenei killed it." And then I don't know, that tweet had like, I don't know. Some people were like, "Yeah, I think I buy that." I just concocted a conspiracy theory on my Twitter.
It's not a conspiracy theory, because Khamenei has done this in the past, around 40 years ago, 35 years ago. Him and this guy called Rafsanjani go into a room with a bag, and there was basically all the leaders, like a lot of people that were much more high-ranking than Khamenei and Rafsanjani, and some of them were actually good guys, even though they were like Islamic clerics, but they were like open-minded, forward-thinking Islamic clerics. It's funny because both of them walk out of that room like 30 seconds before a bomb goes off in that room. And that's actually one of the reasons that Khamenei's right hand is disabled, So you tell me, the guy walks out of the room 30 seconds before the bomb goes off, him and Rafsanjani, and then he ends up becoming the supreme leader. Don't you think that he was the one that planted the bomb in that room?
Possibly.
And they're saying, oh, it could be this and that, but no. And I think Khamenei has done this. He either does it politically, so he has a track record of taking people out of politics. And even Rafsanjani he ended up killing. Rafsanjani, the guy that he collaborated with,
But you need a strong motive, though. Like, what does he get by killing Raisi?
Because he wants his son to replace him. He wants his son to replace him.
Khamenei's son.
Yeah, Khamenei's son. His name is Mojtaba Khamenei, and also, as I said, there's a lot of infighting. We have also, this guy called Ahmadinejad, and he's causing. But it's all infighting, and they're killing each other. And Khamenei is old. I think he's going to die in the next few years. He's got cancer, and he's like 80-something. So he might die any minute. And he's trying to basically put his son in a position for supreme leader role. But obviously, he's getting a lot of opposition to that. And one of the opposition was Raisi, the main opposition.
Right. But you said that the West hasn't really supported the Iranian people. How could they do it? As you said, like one of the reasons being the West fears, or by the West, I would say America, intervening. Shit hits the fan. The region becomes unstable. Everyone blames the West or America. And that's why more and more Americans are actually going towards the isolationism, where they don't want to get involved. They don't want people to fund militias. I mean, every time America has done that, it just doesn't work out. And then secondly, as you said, there's some certain requirements need to be met. And there is no charismatic leader in the opposition. There just isn't. Like, I mean, is there anyone who's a distant second or something? Like other than Pahlavi? There's no one.
I don't know. There's a few people in media and stuff, but they're all.
Well, Ali Nidjad, with the Masih Ali Nidjad.
No, I don't like her. I don't like her. She's like a communist, and she's so concerned. Yeah, she's more like socialist type, and again, she's not a strong leader. And also, she look. I agree with the women life freedom movement, but the Iranian revolution is not just about women. It's about everyone. Actually, men are killed at a much higher rate in the protest and being hanged. And I feel like she's just focused on the women's side of it. I'm like, dude, this is not a women issue. This is like an Iranian issue, men and women. And also she's got like these socialist tendencies. And she's actually one of the oppositions to Pahlavi because she's more socialist. And Pahlavi is more capitalist. And I just don't see anyone. I really don't see anyone. And that's why I put myself forward. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to be the next leader of Iran, but I want to like start a movement where we have like a strong coalition of people that can do such a thing, And I would like to get all these people on board, Masih Ali-Nejad, Pahlavi, but I want everyone to collaborate together, And all of them, they're not strong leaders. They're just good spokespeople and they get a lot of media attention, but none of them are actually true leaders, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah.
No, a long way to go. I mean, I hope you become the first president because his a comment from Tarun is saying, "Bros be rocking the same hair and beard. Lol, run for office. You'll at least get the female votes." So
Who's that?
You. He's talking about you, not me. I don't get any votes.
By the way, I got a question one time because I like run Q&As. And a lot of people were telling me, "Are you two brothers? Are you and Harris brothers?" And
really? Because we look alike. Oh, right.
We do.
You're the better version one. Okay, that's fine. I'll take it as a compliment. Norse Mythology, thank you very much for the super chat. Guys, keep the super chats coming. Okay, so now let's come back to you, though. What are you actually doing when you go to these? I think I've seen you speaking to a crowd in London. Why do you feel the need to do that? Why do you put yourself out there? And are these Iranian crowds, or what crowds are these where you go and you're actually saying things that a lot of people don't want to say, especially in public?
Well, the thing is, they actually invited me to give a speech. They started following me and they invited me to give a speech, and I accepted. And it was for Turning Point UK, and it was literally outside number 10 in front of thousands of people. I got a great reception, mostly white British. And I don't really care if it's white British or not. I try to speak the truth, and I speak to the people that want to speak to me, and I speak in places where I get invited to speak. And as I said, I care about the truth. I don't really care about which demographic, because, a lot of people tell me, like, and this is such a ridiculous thing. They're like, "Oh, you're trying to pander to the white man. You sold yourself out to the white man." And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, it's not.
They're so stupid. Yeah, they're so stupid. They want us to support these Islamists and
exactly.
These people who want to establish Sharia. On the basis because these white supremacists are also going to kick us out. Well, here's the answer. Well, at least they will. Not that they will kick us out, because they don't say anything to us. Like, I've never been racially vilified. I've been saying that for 20 years. I've never been racially vilified. But not only just that, but what would you rather take? Getting kicked out, getting exiled, or get killed by these Sharia mad Islamist propagandists who actually literally say that they will kill us? They actually say that they will kill us. These guys are not saying they're going to kill us.
Yeah, and they're open
it's
about
a no-brainer.
Exactly. And the thing is, there's a reason why they immigrated to this country in the first place. If Sharia law was so good, why didn't you stay in Pakistan? Why didn't you stay in Afghanistan? Why didn't you stay in Syria? Why didn't you all immigrate here? And at the end of the day, you try to bring what made you flee to this country? And I don't understand how these people think. Like they must be so stupid or brainwashed that they don't seem to understand that one of the reasons they actually fled their countries is because of Islamism and the rise of Sharia law. That's why they're here in the first place. And they come here, and I was actually reading this study that actually the Muslims born in the UK and in the West are actually more extreme than the ones that live in Afghanistan, Pakistan. And I feel like that's why the reason is because they haven't actually experienced what it's like to live in an Islamic country, you know?
Exactly.
And we have. I don't know where are you from, Harris?
Pakistan.
Pakistan. So we've witnessed, I'm from Iran. I'm actually quarter Pakistani. But we witnessed what Islam can do to a society. Now look at the disparity between Pakistan and India. India is more secular, more Hinduism, which is more actually spiritual, it doesn't involve with politics. And then look at Pakistan.
Less violence.
Less
more democracy,
violence,
more
and
pluralism.
all the violence in India actually comes from the Muslims that try to kill the Hindus. You know, that's where the thing comes from, and most of it anyway.
Yeah.
And you look at the disparity, like India now is the second biggest or the third biggest economy in the world, and Pakistan is like ranked 100th, and they're going backwards every day, you know? So that just shows you what Islam can do.
Yeah. And the reason, but the difference is that Pakistanis still want more Islam. And I think the reason for that is because they've also actually never tasted Sharia like you guys have. You guys have lived under Sharia for the last, 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Pakistanis, Pakistan is a proto-democracy. It's not really, there's no Sharia really. Like they've got music, they got everything. They've got everything. I mean, the government and the state is not really Islamic. But people romanticize Islam. But then when these same people, when they go to these Western countries, they because their lives are so good and so cushy and so comfortable and so prosperous, thanks to these countries being far away from Sharia, they say, oh, well, now everything's good. I've got 3 meals a day. I've got a nice house. I've got a nice car. Let's bring in Sharia. That's the only thing that's lacking. These fucking idiots, what they don't understand, that the reason why they have such good lives is because there is no Sharia. But who's going to talk to these people? So you're right. They're so freaking stupid. They're so dumb and stupid.
They're so dumb. And well, look, this is another thing I always tell people this, that Christianity done the same thing 200 or 300 years ago. And it's because the church wanted to control everything. And the reason why Europe actually prospered is because we had a few brave individuals that stood up to the church and said, we don't want church and politics to mix. And that actually kickstarted the Renaissance and the Age of Enlightenment, because they separate church from state, and it basically blossomed a new culture, music, art, technology, everything. And the same thing needs to happen to Islam. You know, I know that Islam's not going to go away. However, Islam needs to go through its own Renaissance and through its own Age of Enlightenment. And people like Mohammed bin Salman, the leader of Saudi Arabia, the birthplace of Islam, has realized that he is the king of Saudi, the birthplace of Islam, and he has realized that if he wants to bring Saudi Arabia to the 21st century, he cannot have Sharia, he cannot have Islamic laws. Even in Saudi Arabia, they turn down the volume of azan.
Yeah, I covered that news, sorry.
Yeah, and they allow alcohol now, they allow concerts, they allow clubs, they allow bars, they allow women to sing, they allow women to dance. They just literally had a woman being submitted to Miss Universe or something, and she was very beautiful actually. So all these things, and now you see all these footballers, Cristiano Ronaldo going to Saudi Arabia and playing there, Neymar going and playing there. All the boxing events, all the major boxing events are in Saudi Arabia. And that's a sign of a smart leader. If I meet Mohammed bin Salman one day, me and him would agree. You know, so it's not about me.
Don't meet him though.
Yeah. Sorry, but the thing is,
I suck up to him all the time, but I still say, I'm not going to Saudi.
I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. Is, no, but I actually think deep down, these people have realized. So I actually have no fear to go to Dubai or go to Turkey or maybe even go to Saudi Arabia, because deep down I feel like they have realized this.
They have realized, but they still have these laws. It's not easy, you know. Like, I mean, just stay away from it. Now that you've spoken about these things openly, you got to now. Well, I think it'd be a risk to go to any of the Middle Eastern countries now. Like, I mean, the more you put yourself out there, I'm not saying that there are warrants out there for you. I'm not saying they're looking out for you, but it's just one of those things that, if your flight accidentally lands there or whatever, who knows? Anything can happen. If so, not that the authorities are looking for you. What if someone recognizes you? Some butthead Muslim recognizes you, and then he creates the fuss, and so it can actually happen. So I was just in London.
The thing is, I'm actually less afraid of Dubai, because Dubai is actually very modern. All the business people, all the rich people are now in Dubai. I'm actually less afraid of Dubai than I am in London. Because London, they have taken so many immigrants, so many Islamic immigrants from Afghanistan, Pakistan, a lot of Islamists, and you see them in the streets. But I'm not afraid. I still walk straight over.
The difference. Yeah, but the difference is that in London, the state is not going to come after you. Okay, some vigilante, some Islamist is going to do something if he does it. In Dubai, no individual is going to do anything because they're really scared of the law, but the state may go after you. They can't. People in Dubai, people have been arrested for just a social media post in the past. British people have been arrested for having a just a little speck of marijuana on the sole of the shoe. So and again, there's no consular services. They're pretty brutish about how they go about things. So yeah, I mean, the shiny buildings, all the glister is good, but still, having said that, I wouldn't drop my guard. Actually, there's a question for you by Queen Nick, Q Nick. He or she's a queen, Nick? Oh, I don't know. Younes, will you be joining Tommy's march on the 27th of July? Would love to meet you. Love you both. Did you go to the one yesterday or the couple of days ago?
I was actually away this weekend on a business trip. I missed it. I came back on Sunday, but it was on Saturday. I didn't manage to go, but I really wanted to go. But definitely, sure. I actually speak to Tommy Robinson a lot on X. We're in communication a lot, and he shares some of my posts. And he actually did tell me to come to the one last Saturday. I couldn't make it, but now that I know there is one on the 27th of July, definitely I'll be there. If I'm not away. Yeah.
I was there. I would have definitely gone there had I been there. I actually came back from London about a couple of weeks ago. But I couldn't really hold it out because I was already there for like 5 weeks. I was getting homesick.
You should have told me that you were in London. We could have met up.
Yeah. Look. I was only there for 4 or 5 months.
But that's a long time.
Sorry, not 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 weeks. Sorry,
still a long time. Still a long time.
Oh, really? Yeah, you still got to do a few things. Okay, so I think this is your first video that I saw. I think is that the one that went viral? Yeah, that's the one you were talking about. This video.
No, not this one. Go to down. It's like one for Sharia for UK. It's got 4.4 million. You have to go down more. Go down more.
Yeah, for UK. Yeah, I think I've seen that one too. Yeah.
Go down. I've seen I think it's like go down. I'll tell you. Down. Okay. Up. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
You look disgusted. But you look more dangerous.
So my question to these people is, why did you leave your country to come to the UK if Sharia law is so good? Why did you leave Afghanistan? Why did you leave Pakistan? Why did you leave Sudan or wherever you came from for you to come to the UK to shout Sharia for UK if Sharia law is so good? And you're so dumb. You don't realize the reason why your parents, your grandparents, or yourself left your country is because of Sharia law. Name me one country that employs Sharia law that's an advanced country. And you can't use Dubai or Qatar as an excuse because they don't follow Sharia law. I was born and bred in an Islamic country, and the reason why I'm in the UK is because I don't want Sharia law. So if you think Sharia law is good, fuck off back to your country.
To the point, straight to the point. But there's another one. This one is absolutely hilarious, though. I think that was the first video that I saw of yours, and then I saw that one too.
Yeah.
It is. Okay. What? These are your brothers, they're Iranians. There's one more, yeah?
Shia, innit? They're all kuffar. They're all kuffar. What? Who could do anything about
The
it?
white
What?
convert.
What? Shia are kuffar. What? Do something.
Every weekend, Muhammad tries to get his children together for a day out. But as Muhammad and his wives are unemployed and dependent on benefits, days like these are rare.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You say you don't want to talk about. I mean, you don't just. I mean, dissing Islam is not your goal, but you do see, especially as far as Iran is concerned, and some of the most profound threats that we're facing in the West. I'm not gonna sound like an alarmist by saying that, oh, you know, like Islam's gonna take over Britain in 5 years. I'm not gonna say that, but if the trajectory continues, as is the running joke on David Wood's channel, if the trajectory continues, then Islamism is probably the only threat that is threatening to destroy the fabric of the Western civilization. So it is a serious threat.
No, definitely. I think it's the main.
What do you
threat,
think
actually.
we need to do as activists? Like, I mean, what you're doing, you're making media appearances, you're just raising your voice. Do you think that more and more people, and not just from one particular Muslim country, like, I mean, you know, you're Iranian and Pakistani, and then, you know, we've got African Muslims speaking up, and
look,
everyone, just ex-Muslims have become a biggest thorn in their shoe.
Yeah, and also I read this study that said by 2040, actually Muslims would be a majority because of the birth rate. If the immigration goes on as it is now, and because on average Muslims are having 3 to 4 kids, and Christians are only having 1 to 2 kids. Okay, and I think the exact figure is like 3.7 for Muslims and 1.4 for Christians.
Which is falling, though. To be fair, even Muslim birth rates are actually falling, but yeah, there's still twice as high as.
Look,
Christians.
the thing is, like some parts of London now, London is easily 20% Muslim, easily. It could be more, but like some parts of London, you walk in and you feel like you're in the middle of Islamabad. Like you don't see a white person; it's all Islam. And
Ilford. Go to Ilford. Go to East London. Oh yeah, I know this areas pretty well.
Yeah. And look, I actually think, because I have 2 Pakistani friends, and they're both ex-Muslims, but they don't come out and say it because of their family. They're scared. I actually think there's a lot of ex-Muslims that don't come out and say it because they don't want to be disowned by their family, or they don't want to put their face. But actually, they like all my videos and they watch all my videos and they always give me great feedback and everything. And look, actually, it's not that I'm trying to diss Muslims. I'm trying to free Muslims. I'm trying to free them from that mental cage that they have been built up in their head by their parents and by their culture. Because Islam ruins societies. I'm not a racist, I'm a culturalist. Yeah. And Islam usually leads to a bad culture. Okay. So it's even in their own self benefit that they don't follow things like Sharia law, you know? So I just want to free them from the oppression, because I feel like at the end of the day, I'm not a religious person. And I believe in God, I'm a spiritual person. I was an atheist for 10 years, but few things happened. I believe God to be an energy and a frequency that flows through everything. So I'm not an atheist, even though I was an atheist for 10 years. I don't like religion. And the reason why I like religion, because religion imposes control, and it's like a brain virus. Religion is a brain virus. And the biggest virus of all of them is Islam. Okay? And I actually think that these people themselves would be a lot happier if they weren't Muslims. You can be spiritual, you can meditate. You know, people reach spirituality through different means. Some people meditate, some people work out, some people listen to music, some people go out for a hike, you know, different things. Some people pray, whatever. And the thing is, religion and spirituality have become intertwined. We need to separate religion from spirituality, you know? And the reason why people won't give up religion is because they feel like they're giving up hope, or they've given up their God. And that's why they feel so attacked. And we need to separate this in people's minds. that you can be spiritual, but you don't need to be religious. And you have to realize that religion is oppression and spirituality is freedom. You understand?
Yeah, well, I'm a hardcore atheist, so
Yeah.
I've always struggled to understand the definition of or follow any definition of spirituality. I think just feeling or just feeling that you're here. That's just a byproduct of consciousness, and I still think that consciousness is one of the most amazing gifts that's been given to us by the universe, and not by a sentient universe. It's just an emergent property of our brain. And I just
I don't know. It's the thing is, right? I mean, we can agree to disagree, and people have their own views on things, right? However, I don't see God as something external. I see God as within me, and I feel like my consciousness is a byproduct of God. And I think science is a way of understanding God. And I always explain this to people, like science maybe knows even less than 1%. Yeah. What we know now about the universe and the world is probably not even 1%. Yeah. And we think we don't know like another 10%. Oh, we don't know about the universe and the multi-galaxy. I always say this, 90% or even more, we don't even know that we don't know. Let me repeat that again. We don't even know that we don't know. Like our brains haven't evolved to the point to even understand. Like even if someone explained it to us, we wouldn't be able to understand it. And I give you one example. Imagine 4 dimensions, or imagine 5 dimensions, imagine 9 dimensions. We can't, because we live in a 3-dimensional time and space. So we can't imagine 9 dimensions. Like, what do you mean 9 dimensions? You know? And that's what I mean. And I always say this, you're not a drop in the ocean, you're ocean in a drop. You are part of universe. You are God, but you have a spirit of God inside of you.
Yeah, but
and that's where your consciousness comes from.
Yeah, but that leap, that not knowing and then making a positive assertion that I know about God, that's a positive assertion. I mean, why can't you stop at, we don't know. I have a feeling maybe there is a God within me or something. My consciousness is somehow connected with the universe. There's, I mean, people have given those kind of ideas. Those ideas are very old, but unfortunately, at this point, the only way of stating or understanding facts or establishing facts is empirical evidence. We don't have that. No, I understand. I agree with you that we don't have it. We probably don't even know 1% of the universe, but that doesn't mean that what we don't know, we can fit our own worldview in that.
Look, I give you an example, and this was one of the reasons I was an atheist for 10 years, and I used to say the same things over and over and over. The problem I have with atheists is that they think that there's nothing beyond this physical realm. I disagree. I feel like there is something beyond this physical realm. That's point number 1. And point number 2, with the empirical evidence, as I said, science is a way of understanding God, and we don't even know 1% yet. We don't, and it's not necessarily a positive affirmation. It's just having faith, knowing that you're connected to a powerful source of energy that you are part of. Okay, and that's where everything grows around you, the nature, the universe, and the stars. We're all connected to that power source. You know,
but it's just an idea. That's what a Muslim would say the same thing. That I'm connected to Allah, and thousands of people would say that.
No, but that's exactly what I mean. This is the thing. All religions are a cultural perspective on God. Neither of them are 100% correct, and neither of them are 100% wrong. A lot of the things in Islam are actually correct. A lot of the things in Christianity are actually correct. I'll give you one example. 7 deadly sins. And you know what sinning means? Sinning means missing the aim in Latin. And missing the aim in life decides whether you're a successful person or you're an unsuccessful person. So what are the 7 things you can do to miss the aim in life? Be lazy, sloth, gluttony, eating too much, having too much lust. And I think all religious stories should be understood metaphorically. There's a reason why these stories lasted for so long. The story of Adam and Eve is not actually about the creation of the universe. It's about becoming conscious. Because once you eat from the tree of knowledge, you leave paradise. You understand? The story of Adam and Eve is about becoming conscious. It's about actually hitting puberty. Because what's the story? They're like children. They hit the tree of consciousness. All of a sudden, they realize that they have genitalia. and they have sexual urges and sexual needs, and that's why they cover themselves. So I feel all these stories in religion, and you can say the same thing about Zeus. The problem is that people understand these stories literally. We should not understand these stories literally. We have to understand these stories metaphorically. They're there to teach us something, just like anything else. Like you can read George Orwell, 1984.
Yeah, that's
and
fine.
That's the story
I mean,
tells you, you know.
Yeah, that's fine, but that none of the, like, I mean, words of wisdom, telling you to be punctual, don't eat too much, don't be lazy. I mean, these are just simple words of wisdom, and they have. You're right. You're right when you say that all of these words of wisdoms have appeared independently in various cultures all around the world for as long as we can go back. But that doesn't take us to any positive assertion of a god or a being or one entity. The only thing that we can be certain of, and that's consciousness. And some philosophers argue against that too. That maybe we can't be fully certain of that either. You know, there are concepts like solipsism and simulation theory and all of those kind of things.
Yeah. The thing is, I've read The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, but I think every atheist, every single atheist should read this book called The Science Delusion. And one of the assertions in science is that everything is constant. No, everything is not constant. Not even the speed of light is constant. And there's a problem at the bottom of science. And look, and another problem I have with this whole atheism argument is like, well, the Big Bang happened. We actually don't know what happened before Big Bang. And they were like, oh, we evolved, but we evolved from a single cell. Okay, well, how did that single cell come into existence? Who put that single cell there? And
yeah,
also,
but
another thing
that doesn't take us to anything else. That doesn't take it to God, or that doesn't take us to, okay, now I can put anything in.
But this is no, it's not. This is the God.
We understand the limitations, though.
Yeah. God is the impulse that made evolution possible. So when they say, "Are you a creationist?"
That's a claim. But that's a claim. But you understand that's a claim, though.
Yeah, but that's what that's the thing. That's what I believe, because I feel like that single cell had a consciousness, and that single cell divided into two, and it
but why can't we then believe in Adam and Eve?
Of everything.
Yeah, but then why can't we believe in Adam and Eve literal theory? Because
because
if a God exists, but hang on, but listen to me. If a God exists, then he can actually do anything. Then he can actually, maybe for us humans, there was a special pair of humans that actually continued from where our species started. But for everything else, you know, there was a single cell theory of evolution fits in. My point is, if you open yourself up to believing things that are not fully supported by evidence, empirical evidence, then we can actually believe in anything. I understand your intent, though. Okay,
I don't agree, because I feel like you look at God from a religious perspective. I don't look at God in a religious perspective. I look at God in terms of energy and frequency. And that's exactly what Nikola Tesla said. Everything has an energy and frequency. Humans have energy and frequency. And that's why you can feel some people's energy. And there's something called the electric magnetic field around us. I call that God. You can call it whatever. You can call it science.
No, but who is this God, though? Like, I mean, just electric. If you
God
just
is energy and frequency.
Then radio waves are
telling you. No,
radio waves
is not some guy in the sky. Look, the God.
Who is he? Who is it?
The thing is, it's not a person. It's within me and you. It's
an
energy and a frequency that flows through everything. And look, I always tell this to people, and I encourage people, all atheists in the world, to try this if they have the balls. If you're so certain about being an atheist, try ayahuasca, try DMT, try mushrooms, or try LSD.
I've tried mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms. Or but this is the thing, try ayahuasca, because that takes you to a place, and it's not hallucination, because everyone sees the same thing. Everyone sees that magnetic field of energy that we're all a part of. Okay, so
I know ayahuasca is very similar to, but yeah, DMT and ayahuasca. Ayahuasca takes you to near-death experiences or whatnot. But psilocybin, the impact that it has on your brain, I know that it has been induced by me, which is making me notice detail that isn't there, and my brain is interpreting my surroundings differently than when I'm sober. So I understand that, and again, I'm not really that hostile towards people who genuinely have very strong feelings for spirituality or God. But my point is, let me articulate this thought. that everything that we have achieved that has taken us forward. Yes, we have arbitrary thoughts, we have fiction, we have stories, we have many great ideas that are abstract thoughts that are not really grounded on empirical evidence. So I have value for music and art and everything, and I understand their importance. But everything else that has actually propelled us from just arboreal creatures to creatures who can actually go to Mars and colonize it, that has been done on the basis of science. Science works on empirical evidence. So science works on empirical evidence. So the only measure we have to understand the universe is where does evidence take us? If evidence doesn't take us to any frequency wave or whatever you're talking about, then I'm sorry.
It has, though.
I think we have
It has taken us. It has taken us there. We now
where has it taken us?
We now know there's an electromagnetic field around us, and everyone has their own wavelength. And when people are on the same wavelength, they support that wave, and then the wave goes higher, and that can actually be measured.
That would still not take us to. That would still not take us to something that you call God. Like, I mean, it's.
But this is the thing.
As we said, we have many. I know. I'm not going to the man in the sky argument. I'm not going to that. But I'm going to the point of this desire to call something that we don't understand God. I just don't understand that desire.
It's not the desire to call something we don't understand. I choose to call it God. You can call it something else if you want. You can call it science. You can call it energy. You can call it frequency.
Can I call it bullshit? Can I call it bullshit?
Yeah, but
like I can call it anything.
Look, I was an atheist for 10 years. I feel like there's a deep emptiness with atheism. There's a deep emptiness. And I actually think one of the problems that we have in society is a godless society.
That's a very good point. And I agree with you.
Yeah, we don't need a godless society. We need a society with faith. And this is the problem, because religion, such as Islam, have come and overtaken that hierarchy. They're saying, oh, look at the atheists. All they do, they want to drink and have sex and take drugs. They have no God. We're the good ones. Look at us. We're so great. We're traditionists. We believe in traditional values. We believe in families. And that's one of the actually attractions of Islam, believe it or not. And I say, we don't need religion in society, and we don't need atheism. We need to have faith. Okay? I have my own definition, and I have my own relationship with God. You can call it bullshit. It's fine. However, I believe in my own, and I think my consciousness comes from God. When you have an intuition about something, I always believe in my intuition. I always believe in vibes, and I always believe in energy, and I always believe in frequency. So when I meet someone, even if they don't say anything to me, I just get a bad vibe from them. And I trust that vibe. I trust that intuition. You know? Even when I'm walking down the street.
You never had your intuition wrong? You never got anyone wrong?
No. Actually, this is what I've realized. The more you trust your intuition, the better your life will be. And actually, scientifically, we've proven now that there is a gut, heart, and mind connection. Your gut knows things. You know, when they say have a gut feeling, it's a nervous system inside of you that has been picking up on information unconsciously and subconsciously, that transmits it to your gut, and that gut feeling tells you like there's something wrong here. Even though consciously I have not come to that conclusion yet because I haven't had enough evidence, but you know it subconsciously. Okay.
I don't know if this is hard science or it's just.
This is hard science. This is hard science.
I'll have to look it up.
Look it up.
I would have to look it up.
Look it up, yeah.
But you made a very good point, and I absolutely agree with you, because when I fell under, like, I mean, I still call Dawkins my intellectual hero.
He used to be mine for a long time, but
he still is. But for me, he still is. But when he promised to us that once we get rid of God, everyone's going to be rational and reasonable, and we're going to have this scientific utopia. That's what he used to say in 2005, 6, or whatever, as far back as you go. He turned out to be wrong, because you're right that once we remove religion from society, or we reduce it to limited, we limit its role, then something else comes out. And you're right, these wokies, all of these blue-haired wokies, these pathological, altruistic, virtue signaling idiots, they're all atheists. And that is absolutely fascinating, and that has made me appreciate certain traditional values. I don't necessarily have to credit religion for those traditional values. For example, try to preserve family system. You know who else follows family system? A lot of animals do. A lot of mammals do. So yes, religions got here before science. That's why religions kind of hijacked it, and they say, hey, look, we're the ones. This is how a man, this is the role of a man and a woman, and that's how you ought to live. And we thought, oh, and then some atheists came along, and some people who didn't want to, who wanted to break away from the chains of religion. They said, no, hang on, feminism, okay, men and women are equal in certain aspects or whatever. I agree with a lot of feminist points as well, but that became spiteful. And so we don't really have to go that way. We can remain atheists, and we can still at the same time appreciate certain traditional values. And what people say, the other word that you use, I don't agree with that, which is emptiness. I don't think my life is empty at all. I have a very good life. I sleep 8 hours a day. I'm 40 years old, not a single gray hair on my face. I have no worry in the world. I have a very, very comfortable, very good life, and I'm so grateful. Not grateful to God. I'm just grateful to whatever circumstances. And yeah, we in some ways we carve our own path, and we make our life decisions take us wherever they are. And I'm sure you've made some good decisions in your life, and then you're living a good life. So I'm okay with that. And again, one thing that I've actually understood over the years, that I also don't feel the need to be so hawkish towards people who believe in God. Like I really don't have anything against them. I would not have had anything against Muslims either if it wasn't for violence. You know how violent it is, and how, I mean, it actively wants to come out and kill people like you and me. And that's the only reason. If Muslims are behaving like Christians, who cares? And that's why I don't have any problem with Hindus. I don't have any problem with Buddhists. So yeah, I mean, have the last word. I mean, I didn't think that our conversation would be so lively. I actually really enjoyed it, especially the last part. Is there anything about your story you want to say? Because obviously you're more than welcome to come. Because
I just want to make one last point, and the thing is, as I said, science doesn't even know 1%. There's 99% that we don't even know that we don't know. So if you're just going to go by the empirical arguments and the empirical evidence argument, then we still don't know things. I'm not saying because we don't know it, we have to call it God. I'm not saying that. And also, I'm a big proponent of science. I will encourage science, and I will push boundaries. If I'm like, I would fund science, and I want to know more and more and more. However, as I said, science is the study of God's creation. That's what I believe. You can disagree, that's fine. And when I say God, I mean the source of energy. I feel like I am connected to that source of energy. The fact that I was born, the fact that I'm here, the fact that I have a consciousness, the fact that I can think, the fact that I have an imagination, the fact that everything grows around me, the fact that there's so many stars and galaxies, animals, everything. I have faith. Let's just put it that way. I have faith in God. I live my life as though there is a God. I try to be a good person. I used to be an atheist for 10 years, and I was saying, oh, this is all bullshit. And I tried to be so rational. And I'm saying, for me, there was a deep emptiness behind it, because there's no such thing as rationality even. You think you're rational, but actually it's your emotions that's in control of you. It's your subconscious mind that's in control of you. It's your childhood experiences that's in control of you. You think you're being rational, but you're not. I just feel like life is not black and white. Let's just put it that way. Religious people see life in black terms, they see it in religious terms, and atheists see it in white terms. There's no such thing as black and white. Life is 50 shades of grey. Okay? That's what I believe. And each to their own. As long as you're a good, look, this is my final word. As long as you have a clean heart, you have clean thoughts, you try to do good, you try to tell the truth, you try to be a good person, you try to help yourself, your family, and your community for the best, try to leave a positive mark on this world. Whoever you are and whatever you believe in, I will support you and I will like you, and that's it.
There's so much I want to talk to you about, but that's good. I'm really enjoying that. Let me read some super chats for you.
Sure.
Couple have come through. There's a question for you. Do you think mosques and Islamic teaching should be banned in the West? Bacon-loving ex-Muslim Jat from Sargodha. Sargodha is a town in Pakistan where it was just in the news the other day. Well, what's your opinion on that? Do you think mosques and Islamic teaching should be banned?
If they push dangerous rhetoric in the mosques, then sure, it should be closed down. However, as I said many times, I have no problem against people going to the mosque. If they can pray 5 times a day, they can be spiritual. My granddad used to be a devout Muslim, and he memorized the whole of the Quran. And he actually
He's
too
a
used to
Hafiz.
take me. Hafiz, yeah. And he used to take me to Friday prayer when I was a kid. And he was a great guy. He never harmed anyone. He was very kind, very nice. Never drank alcohol, never smoked, never cheated on his wife. I never even heard him swear. I understand some people need to go to the mosque to feel spiritual. It makes them feel good. So who am I to say to that person, what makes you feel good is not okay? So I'm going to close it down. Different people have different ways of reaching spirituality. Some people listen to music. Some people, as I said, work out. Some people read books. Some people go to the mosque. Some people go to the church. Some people meditate. And each to their own, as I said, each to their own. As long as you don't harm anyone and you don't try to mix politics and religion together, I don't have a problem with you. If you want to go to the mosque, so be it. All power to you.
I absolutely agree. That's exactly
Yeah.
my answer as well.
Yeah.
Only if we have credible evidence that they are doing something shady, they're planning
Yeah.
attacks, or they're inspiring attacks against other non-Muslims, or they're
Yeah.
just spreading hateful ideology. Or here's where it actually gets more complicated.
Yeah.
There are Quranic verses, as you are aware, which actually do say literally go and kill the Jews. Surah
Yeah.
chapter 29, 39.
Yeah.
There's so many such verses that actually say that. So if they just read the Quranic verse, then that could be perceived as, hey man, what are you doing? Like, for example, there's this video that went viral. I retweeted it as well, it was quoting 929, kill the Jews and Christians and make them pay jizya. And then a lot of Muslims would say, well, we're just reading the Quran. So we can't even read the Quran now.
Yeah. Well, that's again my problem with Islam, is that you cannot criticize it because they think it's the word of Allah. And you can say, well, Islam is 50% good or 90% good, but that 10% that's not good is very dangerous. And you have to be able to separate that 10% from the 90%. The problem is they're like, this is the word of Allah, this is the word of God, and no man can question it. And I'm going to make a video about that, where I have a list of different surahs that's in the Quran. It's not even the Hadiths. I'm going to just read them one by one and be like, you can make your own decisions. And this is the problem. Even look, in the Bible also, it says a lot of things. Okay, in the Torah, in the Torah, it says a lot of things. People have realized that they need to cherry pick. Okay, I hope we'll reach a society that doesn't have religion in it. I really do. I hope.
The only reason I think I think the only reason why Muslims don't leave out the bad bits is because their imams and this political establishment around them, which inspires to apply Sharia in their societies, they keep reminding them that this is it. And now look at this. Like, I mean, as I said, 20 years ago, Muslim preachers or propagandists, they used to hide these embarrassing verses. Now, in this new age, hijabs and these popular social media Muslim propagandists, they boastfully say that. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's just they don't know that they're actually fast tracking the death of Islam, because what they propagate, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable in the 21st century. It's just it is going to fall. Even these people who today say that, oh yeah, I'm a fan of Muhammad Hijab, let's kill the Jews or whatever. Even those people would, when they come out of this euphoria, then they're saying that's a bit stupid. Yeah,
and also it's dangerous because, as I said, Muhammad Hijab will influence a lot of people, which will influence terrorist attacks. Then you have the white liberal wokey that would never ever say anything about Islam because they think it's racist. And well, one of the main reasons I started my channel is exactly that, is to get people talking and to expose Islam for what it is. I'm not trying to go for Muslims. As I said, I have family members that are Muslims. I have nothing against Muslims. But the thing is, just like any other ideology, I don't think any ideology is beyond criticism. Communism is not beyond criticism. Christianity is not beyond criticism. But Islam is the only one you can't criticize. And the reason is that because people throughout history, Muslims have killed people that have questioned the religion. And that's how they actually grew. Islam grew by blood. Islam grew by force. And the same thing now is happening in the West. Why is it happening in the West? Because we have a minority of loud-mouthed Islamists that shout unapologetically and,
Intimidate, provoke,
shamelessly
everything.
and shamelessly. And on the other side, you have a bunch of politically correct silent majority, and the silent majority needs to speak up, or at least the silent majority needs to be aware, so they know to differentiate between the truth and bullshit.
Yeah, I've got so many questions now, but anyway, I'll just quickly go through these super chats. My whole family and I are ex-Muslim. I have spoken up about Islam for over. I've spoken for Islam for over 12 years. Only now I see the West waking up. Would love to tell my story. Yes, send me an email, Queen Nick. More than welcome. Okay, I've got a question. When the truth is your way, the positions are just as clear and logical as Younes presents them. Thank you both for your voice and this conversation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciation from Israel. I'm gonna take one comment from you on Israel as well, because I think we haven't really spoken about it, because I did say that I would ask about it. You don't have to go anywhere anytime soon, do you? Do you have another 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure.
So Israel, I think, look, they're the front line of danger, fighting this dangerous ideology. They're surrounded by terrorist groups. They're surrounded by Hamas, Hezbollah, and other Islamic countries that don't like them. So I understand the predicament they are in, because they're fighting a dangerous ideology. They're fighting Islamists. But at the same time, the international support for them is fading away, because they're seen to be killing innocent civilians and children. Well, actually, they're not killing innocent civilians and children. They're fighting a war in an urban area. They're trying to target Hamas soldiers and leaders, but these people, they use human shields. I feel sorry for the Palestinians, and I feel sorry for the dead kids and things, but they're literally paying the sins for their own forefathers and their own leaders. There's no genocidal intent on behalf of Israel. Israel has nuclear bombs. They can literally wipe out Gaza in 1 minute if they want to. Also, their military capability. They have jets. They have rockets. They can literally turn Gaza into glass into less than an hour. Yeah. So they don't have genocidal intent. We have more than 1 million Arab Muslims living in Israel. So there's no such thing as genocidal apartheid intent. The problem is that we have a terrorist organization that has genocidal intent towards Israel. They are the ones that don't want Israel to exist. They are the ones that think the Jews should die. And they are the ones that shout river to the sea. So I don't want to be in the predicament, but I actually rather admire and like Israel. Okay, and a lot of people would find that controversial for me to make that kind of comment. I'm not saying they didn't make any mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes in the last 60, 70 years. And I actually think there's a lot of right-wing extremist Jewish rabbis in the Israeli government. And they're the same as the Islamists. They're like the different side of it. They believe that Israel was given to them and it belonged. Again, two extreme sides of the religion fighting against each other, extreme Jews and extreme Muslims. So Israel is not innocent, by no means necessary. However, at the end of the day, Israel is a democracy. Israel had protests for 3 months before the war. People were protesting Netanyahu. They wanted to remove him from government. Yeah. They were free to protest. Not a single Israeli died in those protests. However, if it was Iran or if it was in Gaza, people protesting Hamas, they would get shot straight away. So we literally have a democracy fighting a terrorist organization. So who are you going to support?
Yeah. Well said. Can't disagree with anything. Amit Cohen, she's saying, hi, Younes. I agree with you 100%. I would love to hear more from you. Can we find you on YouTube? Do you think most Iranians agree with their regime? I'll take the chance to thank Haris, this channel.
So yes, my YouTube and Instagram should be tagged underneath, yeah?
Yeah, they are. This is Younes's channel, Younes Rocks, and his Instagram link. The link to his Instagram channel is also in the description of the video. Yeah, you can see him there. This is Instagram, and with that, unless you have anything else to add, Younes, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed our conversation regarding God. Even I haven't actually spoken to or debated. No, it's not a debate really, but like I haven't argued with anyone on that topic for a long time. But just initially, I was like, okay, let's say. But I enjoyed it. So it was good. That's how it should be.
Exactly. Exactly. And no, thank you. I have nothing else to add. It was a great conversation. And yeah, hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
folks, that's it. You've got Younes's details. Follow him on YouTube, follow him on Instagram, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like him.
Okay.
Until next time, ta-da.
Thank you.